Hello everybody and welcome to the Fortress of Empiressack. This fortress was submitted by sapphisylph on the Discord. If you would like me to take a look at a fortress that you've created in Dwarf Fortress, jump onto my Discord and go to the save sharing room, and feel free to share a zipped copy of your save file there. If you would like me to take a look at it, just let me know that it's okay to be shown on YouTube and give me kind of a brief description of what the fort is. For this one, they state that Empiressack, which is a randomly generated name, is the third or fourth fortress sitting at a comfortable 217 population. It is a work in progress, and until they get themselves an actual hospital and some lava. And they really like how this fortress has turned out and how they were able to capture water from a light aquifer. So that's going to be kind of the main thing to show off, is talking about the light aquifer and the usage of that in a water setup. So this is a bit of a neat one. The Nest of Sacks is the site government, and of course the Anvil of Discoveries is the name of the civilization. That might be one of my favorite dwarven civs I've seen since Premium came out, by the way. That's fantastic. So we're going to dive into this fortress and give it a real quick look-see. Just keep in mind, if you are sending in a save file that you would like me to have a look at it, if you're using a bunch of mods, I may run into compatibility issues. I may not be able to show it off. As for the fortress itself, it's on this kind of dead, foreboding, spooky space. Around the outside, you can see that there are as many pools of devils and of goblins' blood. That goblin's name just had devil in it, so I said devil out loud. A pool of cat blood as well. Well, that's truly horrifying. As well as this fortress seems to be starving for some corpse disposal, as this is going to give any normal dwarf a panic attack when they walk outside. Granted, the population seems to be sitting comfortably rather high. There's this little puddle down here, which I think was their initial digging attempt to find the aquifer. And then over here, just on the inside, you can see that there's not much going on. It appears to be like an old fortress, and there's trading just outside with a dead pond turtle on it. Well, I mean, that's typical. Standard dwarf fort. As we scroll up just a little ways, we can see there's plenty of dirt, and then some farming spots where there is what appears to be a seed stockpile sitting there, as well as 3 different farm plots, and all the way up to the top here. And we can scroll back down, and as we move into the fortress, we hit this. And now this is the beginning of this light aquifer. So what they've done here is they've channeled out a bunch of sections of this light aquifer, removing the aquifer itself from the stairwell and allowing the water to flow freely just out of the aquifer and into these flow spouts. This is a 2-level high area, using quite a lot of this aquifer's water, as well as this entire area over here as well. This is a really neat design, and I really like it when people use natural water features to do things like this, spread mist. Now, as we scroll down, we'll notice that there's a lot of ore here. This is definitely a very common ore embark, that's for sure. As we scroll down, we can see where they've harnessed the aquifer, continuing to go down, and here it is. This is their central staircase, so it's virtually impossible to enter or exit this fortress without colliding with water. And all I have to say is, holy shit, that's a lot of cats, because there's so many puppies and cats in here. Let's actually just take a real quick look at the pets and livestock screen. So all of these animals are domesticated. One of the first things I would do if I was running this fort is I would geld every single one of the male cats, because there's just so many of them. Because eventually, they will get to a point where they will start impacting your frames, and they will definitely start causing problems and dying in doorways and whatnot, and could possibly be the downfall of this fortress. But they are adorable. So wow, I fell down an extra layer. Spoilers. So here we have this kind of really neat design. Again, it's very unique. If I hit this button, we can see that these are all different offices. It appears that many of the dwarves, regardless of whether or not they require it, have offices. Although it also appears that most of these are barons. So we start off with our mayor. We have a manager. We have our baroness. We have more barons. It's very much a baron-heavy fortress. As we peek up here, we can actually see that Baron, and as well as a Duchess up at the top. So, Duchess of Shallow Trumpet. They must all just be moving here. It's a very popular site. We have a well over here, a lovely spot, as well as a barracks and 2 separate guild halls. Over here we have the Bronze Homes, which is a small library, boasting a whole 6 books, as well as the Joyous Pack, which seems to be the most popular temple in this fortress. And then we do, of course, have this second cathedral, as well as the Tower of Crystals, a guild hall. I love that name. Great name. And then this central section, which is the tavern. And then you'll notice that we have this cacophony of stairways in this giant orbital sphere, and we move down one layer, and this might be the most mind-bendingly confusing looking bedroom setup I've ever seen. Congratulations. I don't know what I'm looking at, but it certainly seems to be working. You got a lot of bedrooms crammed into a very tight space, and I don't really know what to say about this, but it certainly looks neat. One layer down from that, we have another layer of I don't know what I'm looking at again. It's just kind of stuff everywhere to the point where I actually kind of want to turn on ASCII for a second to see what this looks like. Yeah, that looks awesome. I love it. It's just completely indecipherable. Like, even for me, having played this game for years, if I was playing this in ASCII, I'd just be like, huh? What? But that looks fantastic. I love it. It's a mess. It's great. Glorious mess. And then here we have this lovely little set of tombs that are all mostly somewhat assigned. And then we have our drainage. This drainage is cool as well. The water just kind of dribbles down here onto the bottom and then out through here. And I just want to let this fortress run for a few seconds because I'm real curious about what the frame rate is going to settle at. Because for me, I would assume that my computer is going to settle this at about 20 based on the amount of livestock and liquids. It's running at 40. That's like impressive. So noted that this stairway is one of the best for frame rates that you can possibly have, and the water isn't actually blocking pathing anywhere. So the one thing that would really concern me about this is these solid squares of water that are falling through here, meaning if I go back up to the the tavern on this layer right here, there are solid squares of water here. So if I mouse over top of this for a few seconds, let's see if we can see one. Because it's mostly mist, but if there's a solid block of water that falls through, a 1x1, you could spontaneously, like, waterboard a dwarf. Like, as you can see, they're falling from here. I'm not really seeing them down on this lower level, but I'm definitely seeing them below and above. Let's see if yeah, there's some right there. So they are falling down. It's not gonna kill a dwarf, but it's certainly gonna upset them. It could also cause them to cancel jobs and whatnot. So what I would recommend up at the top here would just be to put a single diagonal block, maybe right about here, and then one here, and then maybe one here and one here and one here, and then another one there, and then the same pattern down there. What this will do is it'll force it all to come out as mist instead of, like, potentially waterboarding dwarves. At least in my experience, that might be a better setup for something like this. But this is quite an impressive, like, harnessing of a aquifer, if nothing else. And I think that all of you out there who are looking to come up with creative ways of using aquifers, take notes from this, because this is definitely something that's cool and definitely an awesome use of a light aquifer. But let's continue going down here. We can see some more drainage here, and then there's what appears to be, like, I guess, the well harness down there. Yep, that is accurate. Well harness, and then we can continue scrolling our way down through the depths of this Empiressack metropolis, and we hit the first cavern layer, which appears to be mostly sealed to a degree. Is it? Yes, it is completely sealed off. So because they've replaced these with constructed stairs back up to the main stairway, it is safe, so nothing can get in. And then we can go down this secondary tiny stairwell to see how deep it goes, because we always want to know how deep the dwarf hole goes. Was there any alternate pathway there, or was that the bottom? I think that was the bottom. So this is as deep as things go, all the way down to the bottom of this cavern layer. Yeah, this is a if nothing else, an impressive harnessing of an aquifer that could have a few refinements. I think the one thing that I would abuse the heck out of with this is I would try and use this water flow for something down here, because you've got all of this water that's just kind of sitting here and not really going anywhere. It is kind of flowing off the edge, and it's not quite deep enough to really use it for power. You might be able to set up water wheels along the initial bit here, because I think they need at least 3x3, but I don't know if you'll get them going at full capacity. I would actually try and block off these ones down here and try and get some more flow going through these like 4 center ones and use them as a power source, because then once you do that, you have a lot more options with the things that you can do and the shenanigans that you can pull off with this aquifer. Because once you have power, you can pump water, you can make cannons, you can power minecarts, you can do some really cool things. So Empiressack, I really like this fortress. I don't have too much negative to say aside from holy fudge, that's a lot of cats. But honestly, cool fort. Curious to see where it turns out. Also, it's impressive that you've managed to keep the dwarves as happy as you do with a population of 217. I think that's almost the default cap. Main criticisms, I would cull down the dog and cat population significantly, and I would, at the very least, geld the remaining, maybe leaving 1 or 2 breeding pairs and being very careful about maintaining that. And I would also try and limit the water flow slightly, and also limit the drainage so that you can harness that power and do something cool with it. If you like this video and you would like to send in a fortress, once again, you can join my Discord and go to the DF Save sharing room. I do stream full-time on Twitch. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays are the guaranteed streams, and Saturdays and Sundays are optional for me. So if you want to catch me, I'll be live probably 9 a.m. Pacific until late, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, and then Saturday, Sundays, try your luck. See if I'm live. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.